Libra, do you feel it? The air feels different, heavier, quieter. The silence that used to comfort you now speaks louder than any voice. The stillness carries messages your heart can no longer ignore. I told you this moment would arrive. The day when truth could no longer hide behind charm, when light would finally touch every shadow that pretended to be loyal. Look around you. Do you see how the energy has shifted? People who once smiled at you can't hold your gaze anymore. The ones who promised forever have started to distance themselves. The laughter that once felt genuine now echoes with something hollow. This is not chaos. This is clarity. Because, Libra, you were never imagining things. You were sensing the truth before it was ready to show itself. Your spirit saw what your heart didn't want to believe. The balance you carry has always been sacred. And when balance is disturbed, the universe itself begins to respond. Now everything you gave, the kindness, the patience, the forgiveness, it's all circling back, returning to you through new forms. But not always how you expected. Sometimes love returns as separation. Sometimes peace returns after a storm. Sometimes blessings return as lessons. You are standing in the middle of divine cause and effect. This isn't punishment, it's prophecy. Everything you feel right now was meant to happen this way. Every delay, every disappointment, every departure, all part of a divine design that now unfolds before your very eyes. So don't panic. Don't rush to fix what's already fated to fall away. The scales are realigning, and for once, they are doing it in your favor. Before we go deeper, type "I see it now" in the comments if life has recently shown you something you weren't ready to face. A truth that now feels undeniable. Because what's happening around you isn't random. It's the unveiling of what has always been waiting to be seen. This is not coincidence. This is divine timing. Now Libra, take a deep breath. Open your heart, Libra. Every whisper that stirred inside you, every quiet thought that told you something isn't right, was never fear speaking. It was foresight. It was your soul trying to prepare you for a moment your mind wasn't yet ready to understand. You remember those nights when you couldn't sleep? When your chest felt heavy for no reason? That wasn't anxiety, Libra. That was the sound of your intuition warning you that a shift was coming. You felt the energy changing before the evidence appeared. You noticed how conversations started feeling different, how words lost their warmth, how familiar smiles turned rehearsed, how silence started to say more than affection ever could. You sensed it, didn't you? The distance between you and certain people wasn't just emotional. It was spiritual. Spirit had begun separating what no longer aligned with your journey. You were never losing them. You were being lifted beyond them. For so long, you questioned yourself, wondering if you were overreacting, if you were being too sensitive, if maybe it was just in your head. But now, look around you. The truth that once hid behind confusion is standing in plain sight. The masks are falling. The roles people played are dissolving. The truth is no longer whispered, it's visible. Spirit had been preparing you for this day. This day, when reality meets revelation. It was never about making you suspicious. It was about making you strong. Because to walk in truth, you must first be brave enough to see it. You see now that not everyone was meant to go where you're going. Some connections had to fade so that clarity could take their place. Some hearts had to show their cracks so that yours could finally heal in honesty. And Libra, you were never paranoid. You were protected. Every time you felt that uneasy tug in your spirit, it was not a warning of doom. It was a whisper from the divine, guiding you away from what would one day break you. Now the energy of truth stands before you like a mirror. It reflects not only who they truly are, but who you've become through it all. You have become wiser, more discerning, more grounded. You've learned to listen not to what people say, but to what their energy reveals. And that is your greatest transformation, because you no longer chase validation, you trust vibration. You no longer cling to appearances, you honor alignment. So Libra, hear this clearly. You were never too emotional, you were evolving. And what you're witnessing now is not the chaos of endings, it's the calm arrival of truth finally catching up to you. This is the echo of every warning you once ignored, returning not to haunt you, but to prove that your intuition was right all along. You may be asking yourself, why now? Why does everything seem to fall apart the very moment you finally found peace? Why do people leave just when you start trusting again? Why does life always seem to shift right after you begin to breathe easily? Because Libra, peace cannot exist where illusion thrives. The peace you felt was real, but it was fragile because it rested on things that were never meant to last. The universe, in its wisdom, began to move pieces around you, not to punish you, but to protect your purpose. When the energy around you becomes too crowded with false intentions, Spirit has no choice but to clear the space. That job that ended without warning, it wasn't rejection, it was redirection. That person who ghosted you didn't disappear by accident. Their silence became the language of truth. That friend who suddenly grew distant didn't fade without reason. They were no longer meant to walk with the version of you that's awakening now. Each exit, each ending, each uncomfortable pause was an act of divine intervention. You see, when your spirit starts ascending, everything that isn't growing with you begins to resist your rise. People who are comfortable with your old self start feeling uneasy around your new peace. Environments that once felt familiar suddenly feel too small, too noisy, too draining. It's not because something's wrong with you. It's because something greater is calling you. And when that call arrives, the universe starts rearranging everything to match your new vibration. It moves you away from confusion and closer to clarity. It removes distractions so that you can hear your destiny clearly. It allows discomfort to push you toward your next chapter, even when your heart still clings to what's ending. Yes, Libra, the day you feared would come has come to free you. You thought you were losing stability, but in truth you were being shifted towards strength. You thought the ground was shaking beneath you, but that's only because the foundation was being rebuilt. The breaking was the beginning. The closing doors were not curses, they were confirmations. The rejection you felt was God's protection in disguise. When resistance shows up, don't mistake it for failure. It's proof of growth, a sign that your vibration has changed and your soul is no longer compatible with certain people, places, or patterns. The universe is whispering something powerful to you in this moment. You cannot build the next version of yourself with people who still need the old one. So, Libra, stop trying to hold together what heaven is trying to take apart. Stop apologizing for endings that are making room for your evolution. Everything being removed from your life right now is making space for something sacred. This rearrangement is not random. It is divine. It is heaven's way of restoring balance, protecting your purpose, and positioning you exactly where you belong. Think back, Libra. There was a day, quiet yet heavy, when everything suddenly began to make sense. It might not have been dramatic. There were no loud signs or flashing warnings. It was just a feeling, deep, undeniable, and unshakable. Maybe you saw a message that opened your eyes. Maybe you overheard a conversation that confirmed what your spirit already knew. Or maybe you simply woke up one morning and realized your heart didn't beat the same for certain people anymore. That, Libra, was the day I warned you about. Not through fear, but through faith. It was the day divine justice began to move quietly behind the scenes. The day truth stopped hiding and began to speak. The day heaven decided that enough was enough. Those who once dismissed you are now being confronted with their own reflection. The ones who mocked your kindness now stand in the mirror of consequence. The words they spoke in shadows have found their way back into their own lives. Not to destroy, but to teach. It's not revenge, it's realignment. Because the universe doesn't forget, energy always returns home. You, Libra, were never meant to chase justice, you were meant to witness it. And that's exactly what's happening now. Every hidden action, every silent betrayal, every manipulative smile, all of it has begun to echo back. The same way your intuition echoed its warnings to you long ago. You may feel a mix of sadness and relief right now. Sadness because you still carry empathy even for those who hurt you. Relief because you finally see that the truth was always on your side. But remember this. Truth only hurts the heart that still hopes for a lie. The pain you feel is not punishment. It's purification. The sting of realization is what clears your spirit of illusion. You warned them, Libra. You gave them time. You showed them grace. You offered peace even when they brought you chaos. You forgave what others would have avenged. And now, the universe honors that. Now, justice unfolds silently, not in your hands but in God's. And as you watch from a distance, something inside you shifts. You no longer crave closure, because the truth itself is the closure. You no longer demand apology because peace has already apologized on your behalf. So Libra, stand still and look around. You are witnessing divine balance at work. What was taken from you is being restored, piece by piece, moment by moment. Not loudly, not quickly, but perfectly. You warned them, you forgave them, and now, heaven restores what was lost, not with noise, but with grace. This is the day that changed everything, not because they finally saw the truth, but because you did. This is the moment, Libra. The one where karma stops being a mystery and starts becoming visible. The energy that once seemed delayed now moves like a mirror, reflecting every hidden truth, every silent deed, every unspoken intention. The people who underestimated your kindness now feel the absence of it. The ones who took advantage of your forgiveness now sit in rooms filled with the echoes of their own choices. For so long, you carried the weight of what was unfair, believing that your silence went unnoticed, but it didn't. Libra, your heart was never naive. It was sacred. You loved deeply, not because you were blind, but because you believed in the good that still existed in people. Your compassion was your crown, a quiet strength that others mistook for weakness. But now, the truth stands tall, and the balance begins to return. You'll see apologies coming, but they will come too late, when your spirit has already healed. You'll notice doors reopening that once closed in your face, but you will realize you no longer need to walk through them. You'll witness opportunities appearing effortlessly, the same ones that once required begging and proving. This is what divine balance looks like. It's not revenge, it's revelation. It's life showing you that you never lost. You were only delayed until the scales could even out. Every tear you shed, every sleepless night, every moment of doubt, it all carried sacred weight. Because your pain wasn't meaningless, Libra. It was the price of transformation. It softened your heart, but sharpened your discernment. It taught you the difference between loyalty and attachment, between love and illusion. Now the energy you released returns to you, multiplied, purified, and restored. You are not the same person who once begged to be understood. You've shifted timelines. You've crossed spiritual thresholds that others cannot follow. And here's the truth that few ever understand. The moment you stopped chasing explanations, the universe began chasing justice for you. When you let go of proving your worth, heaven stepped in to prove your purpose. So if you've been seeing signs, sudden shifts, or strange coincidences, know this. The balance you prayed for is finally taking shape. The mirror of karma is here, and it's reflecting your truth with clarity and grace. You don't have to do anything, Libra. Just stand in your light. Because from now on, those who once caused your pain will learn through experience what your silence already taught them. The scales are tilting, slowly, gently, but certainly, and this time, they're tilting in your favor. Look around you now, Libra. Pause for a moment. Really look. Can you see it? The quiet shift in the atmosphere? The stillness that once felt uncertain now feels settled, almost divine. Everything I warned you about, every change, every ending, every revelation, it's not something distant anymore. It's here. It's happening. And though it may not have arrived the way you expected, you can feel that it was always meant to. You've entered a season where the truth no longer hides behind shadows, where everything you once doubted, questioned, or dismissed has finally shown its true face. The illusions have fallen away, and in their place, clarity stands like the morning sun, steady, quiet, undeniable. You are not who you once were, Libra. Your spirit has matured through fire, through heartbreak, through disappointment, and yet here you are, standing unshaken. Your perception has sharpened, You no longer see people through the lens of your hope, you see them through the lens of their actions. And your peace, your sacred, hard-earned peace, has become your strongest form of defense. The same peace that others once mistook for weakness is now your spiritual fortress. It's what keeps you grounded when storms try to return. It's what reminds you that what is meant for you cannot be taken, delayed, or destroyed, only redirected. Libra, can you feel how different you've become? There's a new strength in your silence, a new wisdom in your stillness, a new confidence that doesn't need to be seen to be felt. Those who once doubted your intuition are now facing the consequences of ignoring it. They're remembering the warnings you gave, the signs you pointed out, the boundaries you tried to set. But back then, they couldn't see, not because you were wrong, but because they weren't ready for truth. Now, the very words you once whispered in pain have become echoes of realization in their own lives. The people who mocked your discernment are now walking through the lessons they laughed at. Those who treated your love casually are now craving the sincerity you gave so freely. And those who left you thinking they could do better now see that peace was never in the place they ran to. This, Libra, this is the proof. The proof that you were never imagining things, that your intuition was never paranoia, it was prophecy. That every uneasy feeling you tried to explain was a sacred warning from the divine. The proof is all around you now. In the timing of events, in the way doors are opening without your effort, in the way you no longer need to chase what once ran from you. The same opportunities that once ignored you are circling back, but your soul no longer trembles at their return. You've outgrown the need to prove yourself. You've outgrown the need to be understood by those who never intended to understand. Every lesson you've learned has now become armor. It's invisible, but it protects everything that's within you. You can feel when energy isn't right before words are even spoken. You can sense when someone's smile doesn't match their spirit. That's not cynicism, that's spiritual maturity. And Libra, your soul has earned that maturity. It didn't come from books or guidance. It came from walking through the fire of experience, from surviving things that others couldn't have endured without losing themselves. You didn't just survive, you evolved. The people who once tried to define you now find themselves confused by your calm. They don't understand how you can be so peaceful when everything that once supported you has shifted. But what they don't realize is the shaking wasn't meant to destroy you. It was meant to reveal you. When truth finally arrives, Libra, it doesn't shout. It doesn't need to fight for attention. Truth stands quietly, yet it changes everything around it. And right now, you are standing in that same quiet power. You don't have to explain yourself anymore. You don't have to prove that your heart was pure, because truth always defends the one who lived honestly. This is your season of clarity. Not confusion, not chaos. Clarity, a time when everything that's been uncertain begins to align exactly as it was meant to. A time when the reasons behind every delay, every rejection, every goodbye finally reveal their purpose. Yes, there are still moments that sting. Sometimes, the realization of what's gone can ache like a fresh wound. But even in that pain, there is peace. Because you now understand that nothing left your life without reason. Everything that departed was clearing the way for what was destined to enter. So don't run from the discomfort. Don't question the silence. Don't wish for the old seasons to return. The uneasiness you feel right now is the proof of divine rearrangement. It means that the universe is still shifting things, still moving people, still positioning blessings that haven't yet reached your hands. The warning was never meant to scare you, Libra. It was meant to prepare you. To help you see beyond appearances, to guard your peace before the storm, and to remind you that nothing truly ends when it's part of your divine plan. So now, as you stand here in this moment, in the aftermath of all you've endured, look around once more. See how everything is falling into place. See how the pieces are finally forming the picture you couldn't understand before. That's what divine alignment looks like. That's what answered prayers feel like. Quiet, slow, but certain. The proof is all around you, Libra. It's in your peace. It's in your strength. It's in the way your energy no longer trembles when things shift. It's in the way you no longer break at what used to bend you. You are not living in fear anymore. You're living in faith. You're not trying to make things happen. You're allowing them to unfold. You're no longer searching for signs. You've become one. Everything you see, everything you feel, everything unfolding around you, it's all proof that the prophecy was real. You were warned, you prepared, and now you are walking through the very reality your higher self once whispered about. This isn't the end, Libra. This is the confirmation that you've reached a turning point. Your old self has graduated and your new chapter has begun. So breathe deeply, Libra. Let your shoulders drop. Look around you. The balance has returned. And this time it's not temporary. It's divine. It's earned. It's yours. And now, Libra, stand still for a moment and breathe. Don't rush this part. Don't move too quickly past your own victory. Just feel it. The stillness after the storm, the quiet after the noise, the warmth after a long cold season. Look at how far you've come. Look at how many storms you've survived just to reach this light. Every night you cried alone, every time you questioned your worth, every time you almost gave up, they were all leading you here. To this exact moment, to this calm that feels unfamiliar but sacred. The day I told you about has come, but not to destroy you, Libra. It came to reveal you. To show the world who you are when everything false has fallen away. To strip away the masks, the illusions, the expectations, so that what remains is your truth, your strength, and your divine purpose. You've graduated from the lessons that once broke you. The pain that once buried you became the soil for your rebirth. The betrayals that tried to define you became your spiritual training ground. You are no longer surviving, you are becoming. Becoming the calm in chaos, becoming the balance in imbalance, becoming the light that stands steady even when the world trembles. You are the balance in a world that thrives on chaos. And Libra, that is no small calling. You are not here to mirror darkness, you are here to correct it. Every time you chose forgiveness instead of revenge, you restored balance. Every time you chose silence over drama, you restored balance. Every time you walked away instead of explaining yourself again, you restored balance. You've turned pain into prophecy. You've turned silence into strength. You've turned endings into entrances. And now, the very things that once wounded you have become the wisdom that guides you. From this moment forward, stop apologizing for outgrowing the old. Stop shrinking to fit places you've already outgrown. Stop explaining the peace that others cannot understand. Some people will call it distance, but it's direction. Some will call it pride, but it's protection. And some will say you've changed, but that's the point. You warned them, Libra. You showed them grace. You loved them beyond reason. They didn't listen, but now they see. And it's not your responsibility to make them understand. The truth has done that for you. Now it's time to rise, without guilt, without hesitation, without fear. Because what's ahead of you is greater than anything that fell behind you. The doors that are opening now are not based on luck. They're based on divine alignment. You've proven your strength. You've mastered patience. You've earned what's coming. Type, "I was prepared" in the comments if you finally understand why everything had to unfold this way. Because nothing that happened was random. It was all rehearsal for your revelation. And Libra, if this message touched something in your soul, stay with this channel. Subscribe. Walk with me on this journey of divine awareness. Because every message, every story, every whisper of truth that finds you here will only remind you of what you already know. Deep inside, you are chosen to restore balance. You are destined to rise. You are protected, guided, and covered by something greater than circumstance. The scales are no longer tipping. They've finally balanced. And this time, Libra, they've balanced in your favor. So take one last deep breath, lift your head, and step into your next chapter, not as who you were, but as who you've become. This is your moment. This is your balance. And this time, you rise without fear.